As it has been rightly said by Canadian tycoon Brian Tracy, an objection is not a rejection but a request for more information. In the previous session, we learnt about the concept of sales objection, and we also got a bird's eye view of the methods used for handling objections. But now it's time to dive deeper and take a look at 7 effective techniques that a sales executive can utilize to convert objections into sales accomplishment. Objection chunking, boomerang, conditional close, curiosity, deflection, feel, felt, found, preempting objections. So without much delay, let's move to the first technique, objection chunking. Objection chunking involves fragmenting the objection into smaller sections and then presenting a bigger picture to your prospective buyers. You can start by showing them how they are getting not only the core product but other add-ons as well. Widgets and warranties can be added. You can also include emotions like the increased peace of mind customers will experience as a result of using your product. You can include phrases like, let's look at the big picture. What do you really want to achieve by using this? This will have 2 effects. First, it reframes the situation to create a new attention point and understanding. Second, it distracts the customer from what could be a difficult problem to address. Moving on to the second technique, which is boomerang. Boomerang is a technique where when people object, use what they say to show why they are incorrect. Use their own arguments as a boomerang so they go around in a circle before rebounding to persuade them. Take a look at this example. Where a customer is objecting about the price of a product he is looking to present to his wife. The rebuttal could go like, yes, it is expensive, but I am pretty sure you wouldn't want to buy your wife a cheap present. By using what they say, first of all, you agree to whatever the customer has said is right, but you also tag along your point of view, which eventually results in objections getting converted to sales. Conditional close is a very effective technique whenever the resolution of objection is feasible as per your limits and authority. In this technique, when the other person makes an objection, pave the conversation in such a way that you are able to add the condition of purchase once their objection is resolved. In this technique, it is better to phrase your sentence like, if I, will you, rather than, will you, if I. For example, let's say a customer looking to buy a car is insisting on getting a yellow color car only. Then your response could be, you say you want a yellow one. If I can phone up and get you one, will you take it today? The conditional clause uses the principle of exchange to build a social agreement that if I solve your problem, you will buy the product in return. Moving on to our next technique, which is curiosity. It can act as a life jacket whenever you're about to lose a prospective customer. In curiosity, whenever the customer pitches that he is not interested in your product or he doesn't want to purchase your product, you start acting curiously. You can use phrases like, I know you are not interested in the product, but before you go, could you just let me know what your reason was? Or, I was just wondering what led to your decision not to buy this today. Being curious appeals to the customer and might as well invite them to a game of exploration and discovery. Getting the objection out before they leave is your best and last shot to keep them there. The next technique that we are going to look at is deflection. Deflection is used when the resolution of the objection is not feasible or it is not within your authority, but you do want to keep an open end in the conversation. In this, we avoid immediate resolution of an objection by deflecting it in such a way that it does not hold up the proceedings. But remember that you do leave an open end by saying that you will come back to it later. For example, you can use a phrase like, yes, I see what you mean. Good point. Can I come back to that later? Thanks. Accepting their objection indicates that you recognize their concern and it results in additional harmony and a good rapport. At the same time, it also gives you the window to dig out a feasible resolution to the objection and get in touch with the customer again. The next technique that we are going to talk about is feel, felt, found, which is very effective when dealing with an angry customer. In this technique, we first of all empathize with the customer, tell them that we understand how they feel. Then tell them about somebody who felt the same way, and finally how that other person realized that the product was not so bad and it was actually a very good purchase. For example, if you're dealing with a customer who has a problem with the cushioning of the couch he bought, your response can be, "I know how you feel that it looks rough. I had a person in here few days back who felt the same when they first looked at it. But when they tried it for a few days, they found that it was so comfortable." By empathizing with how they feel, you are building harmony and rapport with a prospective customer, and when you share somebody else's experience, you move the focus to a more objective place in which they are likely to trust you more. The next tactic that we are going to learn about is preempting objections. This tactic is very useful when there are concerns which are raised very frequently by maximum customers. In this case, tell your customers about a possible objection before they object, then handle the objection in a way that it cannot be brought up again. Make the prospective objection look weak by telling them stories of other people who objected but ended up purchasing your product. You can use phrases like, "I had one person who didn't like the shade, but then they had not realized that this was the latest fashion," or "You might find this expensive, but we can find the right deal." Using this technique weakens the objection since you bring it up first and subsequently using your arguments to neutralize it. With that, another session comes to an end. Isn't the world of sales just amazing? In today's session, we learned about the various impactful techniques that can be used to handle customer objections and eventually convert them to sales. In the next session, we'll be going through a very interesting topic, that is negotiation. See you in the next session.